Why don't you go ahead, Ian? I wasn't prepared for that. I don't.
Okay.
But
Well,
I know Seri through the meetings here, and I know she's the president and of the Interact at Arcata High, and she's volunteered to tell us all about what the club's been up to. So, Seri, welcome and thank you.
Thanks. You can see my screen, right?
yes, thank you.
So I'm going to be doing a presentation on Interact, and I'm just going to explain what it is and some of our past and future events. So first, to start off, just a little introduction. My name is Seri Walsh. I am a senior at Arcata High and the president of Interact. Last year, I was secretary of Interact and a part of the Coats for the Cold committee, which I'll explain later in the presentation. My sophomore year, I was also part of the Coats for the Cold committee, along with being a member of the club. And my freshman year, I was not at Arcata High, so I didn't have the opportunity to be a part of the club. But beyond Interact, I am goalkeeper for the Arcata High School girls soccer team, and I'm co-editor-in-chief of the Pepperbox, which is Arcata High School's new school newspaper. First off, some history of Interact. Interact Club was founded November 5th, 1962, so it's been around for almost 61 years. But Interact Club has been a part of Arcata High for 12 years now. And the foundation of Interact marked a new approach to youth service for Rotary. For the first time, Rotarians were not just serving youth, but were empowering them to serve their communities and internationally with their Rotary Club sponsors. There are 14,911 Interact clubs around the world in 145 countries. And additionally, there are 342,953 interactors globally. The name Interact was created by combining the words international and action. So what is Interact, in case for any of the guests here? Interact Club runs through Rotary and brings high school students together to develop leadership skills while discovering the power of service above self, which is obviously Rotary's motto. And we meet Friday of every other week to make members aware of new events and share feedback on events that took place in the time between our meetings. We aim to make a positive difference in our school and local community. Interact during the pandemic. Last year, being online, it was nearly impossible to organize events. However, we managed to successfully volunteer at the Halloween parade, many beach and highway cleanups. We renovated our senior lawn where many students eat lunch and organized Coats for the Cold, among other things. Being online, we had a meeting every other week, unlike years in the past, because there are far less events to organize and people participating in the club. We are continuing with the every other week meetings because we still lack as many events as pre-pandemic. And with the meetings virtually last year, we sent out a Zoom link to all of our members via Google Classroom and shared an agenda with everyone so they could follow along and stay organized. We also completely reorganized our Google Classroom with more accessible materials, such as a Google Sheet to keep track of hours and links to Rotary meetings and Interact meetings. But prior to last year, we probably had triple the amount of events we do now. This included Food for People, where every weekend we'd help put together and distribute food with the Food for People organization, the polio campaign, where we partnered with Rotary to help educate people on ending polio worldwide, the spaghetti dinner, where Interact organized and hosted money for the Rotarian Action Group Against Child Slavery, whose main goal was ending slavery for over 40.3 million people. And along with food there was an auction during the dinner. We also helped with the Toys for the Tots committee, where it was an opportunity almost every weekend to run stands, encouraging people to donate toys for children whose parents can't afford them otherwise. And we participated in fundraising runs, such as the Color Run and McKinleyville Fun Run, to raise money for various different causes, which is definitely something we can start up again. Coats for the Cold is our main committee that we've maintained through the pandemic. And with the help of Nick and Rotary, we bought, organized, and distributed coats throughout Arcata High School and the community. Last year, we distributed 2,800 coats in the community. And additionally, we tried a new method of distributing at school since we are not in person for school most of the year. We put coats on racks in the cafeteria, so people coming to get free lunch would also be able to grab a free coat. And more coats than any year prior were distributed. So we're definitely going to continue that method this year. This year, after only 2 meetings, we have way more members than we were expecting. After only about 20 members participated during the 2020-2021 pandemic, we had upward of 50 people at our first meeting of the school year. And it's clear that people are excited to be back on campus and be able to help out in the community after such a long break. We've moved to a much larger room than this one for future meetings, so we comfortably have room for all of our members. And that's a picture of our first meeting. Renovation of how we run meetings. So with the pandemic going on and everything being so up in the air, our officer team has decided to completely renovate how we're running our meetings. So to start off, because we have so many people interested in participating in events, rather than writing everyone's name on the board, we're creating posts on Google Classroom where people can sign up under the announcements for each event that they want to attend. And that keeps everything organized online and holds people accountable. Additionally, we make every announcement an assignment on Google Classroom, meaning people are reminded via email one day before the event will take place. We also include a description of each event with our posts, so if people miss the meetings, they can still sign up, and that prevents people that may feel sick from coming to our meetings. Additionally, we have our membership officer running a Zoom during our meetings, so people that are unable to come to school because they may have to quarantine, they're still able to participate, and we monitor the chat of that so people can sign up via the Zoom along with the Google Classroom. We've already organized quite a few events, but it's definitely a tedious process with the pandemic. We've already helped out at the freshman orientation, giving tours around the campus to new students. Some people also went to an online allyship training, and we're planning an invasive plant pull for October 16th at 1 p.m. We're also planning to paint murals in our school bathrooms on October 24th with the help of Charlie. And we're planning to help with the Veterans Day flag ceremony on Veterans Day. We also have a few events that are planned, but we still have undetermined dates for, such as renovating our Interact bench at school and continuing to renovate our Arcata High School senior lawn. Hopes for this year. Obviously, it's hard to set any goals for this year with there being no way to predict what the pandemic will look like later this year. But we hope to get a lot more involved in the community and start back up with events we were forced to put on hold last year. That'll include rebuilding connections with organizations and businesses we lost during the pandemic. And we also hope to start posting more on Instagram and expanding our resources on our website. Photos from last year. So I'm just going to show you a quick slideshow of photos of many of our events from last year, which was created by our treasurer, Emily Nally. That's just some various pictures. And then this was our first big event of last year, which was the Halloween parade. We also participated in a weed cleanup with the city of Arcata, along with helping Rotary out with a native garden plant project at JCS. We partnered with another club at our school, Go Green Club, to do an invasive plant pull at the Samoa Dunes, similar to the one we're going to do coming up. We also obviously had coats for the cold events throughout the winter and spring. We also had the opportunity to partner with Rotaract, which is like Interact, but for young adults, and we helped with the tri-tip dinner. And we organized a couple senior lawn cleanup and renovation days, like I mentioned earlier. Yeah, that's it.
Seri, I don't know about the rest of us here. Well, I do know about the rest of us. You guys are inspiring. Oh my gosh. I mean, you are Rotary and the future of Rotary. And in spite of the pandemic, so active and so engaged. And I really, really appreciate and love what you did with the meetings and the signups. We got some work to do, Sunrise. Anybody have questions for Seri? I know that Craig has or is still working with Interact, and Nick has been working actively with Interact. From your perspective, what do you need from our club? Well, I'm looking at what you do. You probably don't need anything other than the mentorship and financial support, but it seems like you're all on it. What more could our club do to either assist or get out of your way to ensure that you're able to do the things that you're set out to do? I think you're muted, Seri.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I think we're still struggling with events as much as it seems like we have a lot. It's a really long process right now with getting permission from school and everything to do any events. So really any events where you need a lot of volunteers, like the Oktoberfest or stuff like that, it'd be great if we could help out, even just for a few hours, anything like that.
Well, that's awesome. Let's see, AJ, would you connect with Nick and make sure that Interact has some sign-up connections for the Oktoberfest?
Sure.
Thank you.
And possibly we could look at that rainwater catchment system down the road.
Yes, please. Yeah. And likewise, Seri, if your club needs any additional hands-on, please let us know. We would love to help out in any way you need to facilitate the things you do. If you got a big thing in mind and you need extra hands or assistance with your fundraising, let us know. We're here for you.
And
thank you so much for presenting. Go ahead, Nick.
I just wanted to say that we can really thank Craig and Stan Alcock for making sure that we have this club up and going. They just kind of handed me something that I was already running really well. And so it's really easy just to put the trust in the leadership of the club. So I just have to find good leadership, and we do that every year. And we are able to make sure that happens because we send these kids to RILA and we get them really engaged with our club. And that makes a huge difference when they feel like they're connected. Then it's just easy for them to kind of just do what they are already wanting to do. So anytime that you hear about the Interact stuff happening, even if you're out there for 10 minutes, just to introduce yourself, say hi, they're gonna be happy for that. Yeah, and so we appreciate all of the support that this club gives to the Interact.
Thanks, Nick, and thank you, Craig. What a legacy. Seri, I just want you to know you can take this back to your club. In honor of your speaking today, we will be making a donation in your and Interact's name to the Wheelchair Foundation, which purchases wheelchairs for people who are disadvantaged and could not otherwise afford them but need them. So thank you for giving us the opportunity to donate in your name.
Thank you so much.
And thanks for being here this morning. There was one other thing that you touched on there that really ties into something that we've got coming up here. October is Joint Service Week with other service clubs in our region and nationally. And so, this is kind of something that I touched on early in the year, looking beyond the club for opportunities for service and connections. And Interact demonstrates that they do that well, reaching out to the Green Club and others to participate in their projects. Let's do it. October 16th or 10th through 16th is Joint Service Week. Look to your other local service clubs and see what we can do to help them. And, sometimes it's just a matter of showing up and saying, what do you need? What can I do for you today? So make sure to get involved if you can. Appreciate that. Let me get back to my slides here real quick.